Am I the butthole for jumping out of a bathroom window to avoid my mom's attempt at forcing a reunion between me and my ex-fiancé? Some backstory. I had been dating my ex-fiancée Sarah for 4 years. We had been planning to get married in November 2020, but I found out at the start of this month that she cheated on me. She begged me to give her another chance, but I broke it off. The problem was that being cheated on is, in my mind, completely emasculating and humiliating. So I never told anyone that was the reason we broke up. For obvious reasons, Sarah also didn't tell people we broke up because she cheated. So people have blamed me for the breakup, including my mom. They just see that I dumped her out of the blue. I've gone very strict no contact with Sarah after I discovered she was cheating on me. Sarah has been talking with my mom and has convinced her that if we could talk one more time, we would be able to reconcile. My mom has been applying hardcore pressure on me to talk with Sarah, but I've explained that there's no chance we will ever get back together. So tonight I go over to my mom's place because she's hosting family for Christmas Eve. I'm there for a bit talking with my aunts and uncles and cousins when the doorbell rings and I can see it's Sarah. I asked WTF is going on and my mom says she invited Sarah so we can work this out in the spirit of the holidays. I'm pissed now because the only way to explain my side of the story is to tell everyone I was cheated on. Complete humiliation in front of my whole family. So as my mom goes to the front door, I go into the bathroom. My mom starts knocking on the door saying that I need to come out and talk to my ex like an adult. I say F it, kick out the window screen and get in my car and go home. My mom called a short while ago saying she's cutting ties with me over my behavior, she's really fixated on me jumping out of a window, and that Sarah will always be like a child to her. My sister called me after to ream me out for ruining Christmas. I broke down and told her that Sarah cheated on me, which is why I dumped her and didn't want to see her under any circumstances. She called me a big butthole who was lying to cover for myself. Am I really in the wrong? F that. Your mom, Sarah, and your sister are all buttholes. The nerve of her, to show up at your mom's house. I'm pissed off just reading this. I don't understand why your mother is so invested in Sarah. Why would you want to tell her Sarah cheated on you, after how your sister acted? What a effing mess. Not going to lie, you kicking out the screen and taking off through the window is straight savage. Reflexes up on legendary. NTA, thank you very much for the awards, kind strangers. My first platinum. And 3 silvers. I'm very grateful. Wow. Thank you. I got to say though that original post honestly should have came clean at some point before it escalated to any of this. Yes, it shouldn't have been his family's business and yes, she should have believed him when he said that he was cheated on. But come on, when you reach the point that you have to essentially break out of your mom's bathroom to get to your car and drive away to avoid telling someone what happened, you have to take a step back and see how that looks to people. Having said that, I think original post needs a long hard break from just about everybody and needs time to himself. I agree. OTT machismo on the cheating. Cheating is about Sarah, it's not a reflection on him, and the sooner he realizes that the better off he's going to be. But totally NTA. The cheating was emasculating, but scurrying out the window and running away is not? I will never understand men. But good news, op, you're NTA. Your mom had no right to pull this horse crap. Especially at Christmas. She should have respected your boundaries. I don't know, dude, jumping out the window and driving away seems pretty badass to me. Edit, in case you guys thought I was being serious, obligatory. Nothing manlier than never opening up about your issues and finding anything other than talking about your feelings for posterity. Yeah, I agree with this. As a man, the simplest and healthiest way to handle this would be to say she cheated, you can never trust her again, you're hurt, and you want to cease all communication. Being a man sometimes means letting people know that you're hurting. Her cheating isn't a reflection on his manhood, it's a reflection on her being crafty. It's chicken crap. He should have faced her this last time. Taken her aside, and in private said something along the lines of cheating is a permanent deal breaker for me, and leave my mom alone. Set some boundaries for Sarah. It's over, and it's never coming back. This would have given him back some of the power and gone a ways towards fixing the emasculation he felt. Instead, we have him flighting like a scared child from his family turf instead of standing his ground and fighting this like a man. Open the door, say your line, plus, Stay the F away from my family. Then close the door. Then tell mom she needs to stop meddling if she wants to keep her family. Op already did that. This story is about her breaking that boundary he already set at the breakup by telling her they were over and telling ex never to contact him again. The proper way to deal with cheating stalkers who follow you to your family's holiday party is to go full no contact and never talk to them again, like Original Post is doing. The ex even said, if Original Post would just talk to her just one more time they'd get back together. That's a sign of obsession and refusing Op's decision. He needs to never say another word to her. Walking out the door and driving away would have been badass. A grown man stumbling to get out a bathroom window is embarrassing. Ike, I think a stone-faced walk out the front door, with a middle finger up to the mom and Sarah, would have been so much better. It's over the top and childish. I don't know if running away is badass, but it's definitely understandable and funny. As a man, I completely agree with you, but at this point, I'm wondering what other anxiety issues Original Post has that would get him to do things like this instead of facing the issue head-on. On the one hand, he doesn't owe anyone a single explanation. On the other, every single person sees him as the one in the wrong and he won't stand up for himself and clear up the misconception about his decisions in literal fear and embarrassment. His partner is the one who wronged him, yet he is willing to go to extreme lengths to avoid the confrontation. It's akin to my own father's actions when our family kept asking where my mother was at family functions. It's been 4 years and he still hasn't even mentioned that they got divorced. They separated amicably compared to other relationships I have seen. It's baffling to say the least. This man literally cannot reason with these people and had no choice but to dip out the effing window because of their bullcrap. His ex deserved everything he did to her, and there would have been a much bigger scene if he actually confronted that hoe like it's some sort of Maury Povich Christmas special. F that, hopping out the window was the best course of action, because if that's considered childish, I don't want to know what inviting your son's ex-fiancé to Christmas Eve is considered. Op, I admire and respect the hell out of you for not giving a single, solitary F. He consistently refused to tell the truth. I don't think it's a literally cannot reason with these people scenario until he is honest about things. They saw him dump his fiancée for no reason, act super cagey about it without being willing to acknowledge things, and then jump out the window just to avoid a conversation, all with no explanation. That alone is enough for them to try to figure things out and see if someone they care about is imploding his life for no reason. If he's this reluctant and overbearing with his lack of respect for people who've been cheated on, I can't imagine he's known in the family circles for addressing his feelings and things head on either. OTT machismo on the cheating. Yeah, it's not like his virility or lack of virility caused the girlfriend to cheat, necessarily. People cheat for many reasons, including their own insecurity, emotional needs, curiosity, etc. etc. I kind of think his own thinking and insecurity may perhaps be a tiny bit of a problem here, but he's not the butthole for fleeing the scene of his mother's manipulation, and the family should respect his boundaries. And he certainly doesn't owe them any explanation of why he broke up, to begin with, regardless of the reason. I mean, obviously that it's emasculating shouldn't really be the issue at all with cheating. It's dishonest and scummy more than anything else. Otherwise, if a woman cheats on another woman, would it not still suck? It's silly to focus on the machismo. Any focus on machismo is not manly. Being a manly is just being brave enough to be yourself regardless of what others might think. If you get all bent out of shape to conforming to some arbitrary gender stereotype to the point you aren't being yourself, you are the opposite of manly. Cheating is the responsibility of the cheater, but it doesn't reflect all that well on the person who was cheated on, either. I can understand someone not wanting to tell people. It's sort of like falling for a scam. The scammer is the one in the wrong, but people still don't like looking foolish. As for machismo, well, being cheated on can be embarrassing for either gender, but in somewhat different ways. If a woman stays with a man for emotional and/or financial support while getting her sexual needs met elsewhere, that is rather emasculating. That's not necessarily exactly what happened in Op's case, but that's beside the point. It's also just generally crafty, but you can't stop people from having gender-specific experiences and feelings. There are things that women feel and experience that men don't, or do to a much lesser degree. The same goes for men. Every man can relate to the pain of feeling sexually inadequate, and when that's combined with betrayal and feeling duped, it's not hard to see why a man might feel humiliated after finding out he was cheated on. I can't speak for women, but I imagine that a similar experience would be having people find out that a man she clearly thought was really into her was just using her for sex. I understand all of that, but in the narrative presented it appeared it was significantly hindering him to cling to this outdated gender perspective because it was prolonging his family's inability to understand what went wrong. If he had been upfront, there was a strong possibility he wouldn't have had to deal with any of this crap. NTA, but dude. You got to tell them why you're acting like this. People will certainly feel a bit sorry for you, but they'll realize why you don't want to be in the same room with this girl. It's hard to blame them for trying to help fix something when they don't understand how badly it's been broken. Everyone's the butthole. But it's not their responsibility to fix it. There are boundaries and they clearly overstepped theirs. Well-intentioned people often don't realize the massive harm caused by infidelity. Reviving my infidelity, Reddit link. But they don't even know infidelity is the factor. But that doesn't matter. Why original post ended his relationship doesn't matter. His mother and sister decided that original post isn't allowed to think for himself and they will get him to get back together with the girlfriend that they have decided they want him to have because the girlfriend wants to get back together with him. They don't give two craps about original post or how he feels. If they did, they wouldn't be trying to force him to talk to her. I'm not saying it justifies what they're doing, but saying they don't realize the effect of infidelity is meaningless because they don't know infidelity is an aspect in the first place. Doesn't matter, that's his choice to be with her or not. It's not theirs and not their business, period. If it doesn't work out, that's unfortunate. But original post is the one to live with her, not them. Families that get this over-involved are cancerous in themselves. Being forced to reconcile like this, and see their ex, and force them to see them, is essentially emotionally raping someone. You can't force crap upon someone, regardless of the reasons. Well buddy, I can understand why you did what you did, but when your mom started applying pressure to you to talk with your ex, you should have swallowed your pride and told her what happened. Yeah, it's humiliating and all, but sometimes you really just got to man up and own it. As for not wanting to get back with your ex, I totally agree with you and don't think you two should get back together because the trust will never be the same. I don't agree. He was being forced to talk to his ex. If he doesn't want to, he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to explain. It might keep his family from doing stupid things like this, but that's his choice. His mother and sister sound like a-holes from hell. It's a case of mutual respect and trust. Not telling my family why I broke up is closing them out really badly. Yes, he's not strictly speaking obligated to. And yes, his mom crossed every damn boundary you can imagine with what she did. But I still believe it's wrong in a moral way not to tell them anything. At least go like we had something really, really bad happen, which I don't want to talk about because it hurts my pride, but that's why I don't want to see her again. At least tell them something in particular happened. I'd say Yes, it's a case of respect. I have never had to explain to my family why I broke up. They respect me enough to trust I know what's good for me. Keep in mind it's ex-fiancé, not just an ex. If my kid was going to marry someone then just randomly broke up with them and never talked about it, I would ask questions. With a sister and mom like that, I would get why he didn't want to tell them the reason they broke up. He waited until he had acted like an ass to tell them. He looked like he was covering his tracks. Had he told them when it happened, they probably would have believed him. Instead, he kicked out a window and effed off without being anyone. I can't agree with this. If you say you don't want to talk to someone an ex anymore, no one should question that. He's not obligated to talk to anyone for any reason. His mom stepped over the like 1000%. She's his mother. She should take his word for it and be on his side. His mother and his ex both sound like manipulative buttholes. When I broke up with my ex of 5 years that I was engaged to, all I had to tell my parents was that it was over and that was it. And they loved him dearly. They've never pushed it. They've never intervened. They've never invited him over unannounced. He's NTA. Of course you are right and lucky to have great parents. Ops mom's actions are totally WTF. Probably feels cheated out of possible grandbabies. But, anyhow, if you break up with someone you plan to marry and then don't say anything about reason why, I would kind of assume the major part of F up lies with you. And, While it's incredibly funny to read someone breaking out of a bathroom, it does not exactly scream mature in Ops place. I would have come out and publicly told I'm never getting back together with the cheater. Drops the mic, edit, forgot a word. Sometimes, just sometimes, life serves you a crap sandwich. Your value as a human being isn't informed by how many of those sandwiches you're served, but how you deal with them. Kicking out a window screen and running to your car, that's much, much more indicative of someone's value than having been on the receiving end of someone else's actions. No one is that gloriously amazing that the actions of others are their responsibility or reflect on them, the question of association aside. Life isn't fair, and yes, it's a string of obligations, not entitlements. Deal with them in a way that hurts the least amount of people and helps the most. There's your value. Man up and own what? His ex being a cheating, conning narcissist who wants to have her cake and eat it too? He's manning up by asserting his boundaries and acting on principle. You've got this all wrong. They disowned him without even thinking. You know what, maybe my effing son has a valid point here. My mom called a short while ago saying she's cutting ties with me over my behavior. She's really fixated on me jumping out of a window, and that Sarah will always be like a child to her. My sister called me after to ream me out for ruining Christmas. I broke down and told her that Sarah cheated on me, which is why I dumped her and didn't want to see her under any circumstances. She called me a big butthole who was lying to cover for myself. Am I really in the wrong? Manning up with just telling the family what happened. Ops and family behavior so bizarre. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.